It's easy to think that we are in control of our lives, but the truth is, there is someone who loves us far more than we could ever love ourselves, who is orchestrating every detail of our life. If we trust him, our lives will be filled with peace, joy, and satisfaction. In today's message, we will discuss God's perfect timing and why it's important to trust his journey for us. We live in a day and age where people want instant results. They want everything at their fingertips, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want. But God doesn't work like that. He has a plan for your life that is perfect, and he wants you to trust the journey. The first thing that we have to understand is that God is in control. Can't see the big picture, but God does. He knows what is going to happen in the future, and he uses his power to orchestrate events so that everything works out according to his will. This means that even when things look bleak and hopeless, we can still trust that God is in control and that he has a purpose for us being in this situation. Think about Joseph from the Bible. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers. But God used this situation to save an entire nation from famine. Or consider Job, who lost everything, yet through it all, he remained faithful to God and God blessed him even more. These stories show us that God is in control, and he can use any situation to accomplish his purposes. Now let's talk about patience. Patience is key when it comes to trusting God's timing. It can be easy to get discouraged or frustrated when things don't happen according to our timeline, but we have to remember that God's timing is perfect. He knows when to intervene and when to allow things to play out. It's up to us to trust his wisdom and wait for him to make the first move. Think about a parent teaching their child to ride a bike. The parent runs alongside the child, providing support and guidance until the child is ready to ride on their own. Similarly, God is patient with us, providing the help and guidance we need until we are ready to handle the situation on our own. When we start to feel impatient or frustrated, we have to remind ourselves that God is in control and that his timing is perfect. Another important thing to keep in mind is that God will and give us more than we can handle. He knows our strengths and weaknesses, and he will never leave us in a situation where we are unable to cope. In fact, he gives us exactly what we need to deal with whatever situation we face. This means that when things get tough, we can trust that we have the strength and resources to get through it. Think about a mountain climber who is scaling a difficult peak. The climber won't be given a mountain that is too tall for them to climb. Instead, they will be challenged with obstacles that are just beyond their current abilities, forcing them to grow and become stronger. Similarly, God won't give us more than we can handle. Instead, he will challenge us with situations that push us to grow and become more capable. When we realize that we have the strength within us to overcome any obstacle, we start to trust God's timing. Finally, we have to remember that God's timing is always right. He knows what is best for us, and he will never lead us astray. Even when we don't understand his plan, we can trust that it is perfect. Think about a chef who is preparing a meal. The chef has a recipe that includes several ingredients that may not seem to go together. But the chef knows that when combined properly, they will create a delicious dish. Similarly, God has a plan for our lives that may seem confusing at times, but ultimately, it will lead us to the life he has intended for us. When we think about God's perfect timing, we can find comfort in knowing that he is in control. God won't give us more than we can handle, and his timing is always right. If we trust the journey, we can have peace and joy in our lives. In conclusion, God's timing is perfect, is a plan for each one of us, and he wants us to trust the journey. We have to remember that he is in control, that he is patient with us, that he won't give us more than we can handle, and that his timing is always right. When we put our trust in God and his timing, we can find peace, joy, and satisfaction in our lives. I hope this message has been a blessing to you. Please share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily devotionals. May you be reminded of God's perfect timing in your life. Trust the journey and know that God is with you every step of the way. Before we go, I would like to ask you for a favor. If you have been blessed by this message and feel it has made a difference in your life, I invite you to take 2 seconds to click the like button. Your support means the world to me and helps spread God's word to more people. Also, if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe to receive daily notifications of our life-changing messages. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. May you experience the peace that comes from trusting in God's perfect timing. God bless you. As we continue to navigate through life's journey, it's important to remember that we are not alone. God is with us every step of the way, guiding and supporting us. Trust in His perfect timing, for He has a plan for each one of us. Have faith in His promises, for they are true and unwavering. Remember that He loves you more than you can ever imagine. And when you feel lost or confused, seek His wisdom, and He will light your path. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee. Resist the devil, and he will flee. Make no mistake, the enemy will try to tempt you and test your faith. He will throw everything he's got to distract you from the path God has set before you. But don't give in. Stand firm in your faith and trust in God's timing. Imagine a bird sitting in a tree. It doesn't try to build a stronger branch or make the tree more stable. It simply trusts that the tree has its roots firmly planted in the ground and will withstand the storms that come its way. Similarly, you can rest in the knowledge that God has a plan for you and that He will never leave you or forsake you. Trust in His promises and know that He will bring your plans to fruition in His own time. Remember the story of Abraham? He waited patiently for God to fulfill His promise of giving him a son. Even when he was old and thought it was too late, he trusted God's timing, and eventually Isaac was born. Likewise, don't lose heart if your dreams seem to be delayed. God is still working behind the scenes to make things happen. Trust in His timing and believe that He will make good on His promises. You may be facing difficult situations right now that have tested your faith and challenged your beliefs. You might be wondering why things are unhappening the way you planned, or when God will intervene in your situation. Rest assured that God is with you in the midst of your struggles, and He has a purpose for every trial you endure. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for you to grow in faith and become more like Jesus Christ. Don't be afraid to rely on God's strength to help you through these tough times. Believe that He will never leave you nor forsake you, and that He has a plan for your future. Embrace the journey and trust that God is working all things out for your good, because you are valuable and loved by God.